We live. Welcome back, all you beautiful people, to that We Got Action podcast. Daniel, welcome back. You've been gone
Back.
couple weeks, taking a little vacation, a little refresher for the boy.
Gotta get a
Felt
little
good,
break,
huh?
man.
Felt good, huh?
Yeah, it felt great. Gotta get a little break in here and there, you know what I'm saying?
All
Yeah.
right, everybody. We got episode 52 coming at y'all.
A year's worth.
A year. Yeah, that's true. We did say that last time. A full year's worth of episodes. Pretty freaking sweet, man. Pretty freaking sweet. Today we're gonna cover a little bit of three sports. We were slim pickings this week, I think, but I think we did get some of the main stuff, and I think we've still got a pretty good episode, good topics to talk about. We're gonna be covering the NBA Finals, Game 2. A couple more coaches were picked up over the span of the last week, and then Carmelo Anthony did call it a career, so we'll touch on that as well. We'll have a few more for the MLB, talking about a few specific players, and then DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to talk about a landing spot, potential spots. I know we kind of touched on it before, but now he can officially
Sign anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Before it was just all hypothetical. Now it's, where best fits? Who do we want? Who do we think? So on and so forth. But let's get into the juice right away. I think the main part, people are going to watch this Game 2 Finals recap. If you didn't see the video, I did a little small recap, but we're going to dive into some deeper statistics, some deeper adjustments and scheming and whatnot. The Miami Heat pulled it off.
Oh.
They stole the game. Big time adjustments, in my opinion, on defense were the biggest part of them winning. I think the ability for them to just kind of clear up the paint and let Jokic bang one-on-one, but just play supreme perimeter defense was very impressive.
And that zone in the fourth quarter too.
Yeah.
Like there was like their switching was so good. There was never a moment where like
every time every time anyone caught the ball on the perimeter,
Yeah.
it was just airspace was smothered.
Mhm.
It was crazy.
And they'd give it to Jokic in the high post to make him play make, and guys couldn't get open off of him. They wouldn't give him a clear look to get a pass or a shot off.
Right.
And they were
The only thing they let him do
everything.
is back down.
It was incredible. I haven't seen anyone play zone defense like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I've ever seen that.
It was very impressive.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me though, because obviously, like game one, the role players were pretty bad. I would say that's an understatement a little bit. Max Strus won, Duncan Robinson wasn't effective, but in game two, like just shows that their confidence does not waver and they just stick to the plan. Like Duncan Robinson in these playoffs has, in my opinion, completely reinvented himself.
It's been at different times in the game too, because Max Strus was the first quarter, but then he only scored 2 the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Duncan had all 10 of his in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy in my opinion of how they're actually doing it. I mean, kind of like what we said, it was like one of those, like at least I said they'll probably get 1 or 2 games or like at least one. And then even said the last couple episodes of like, they'll get like that one random win. We have yet to kind of see that, but it seems like that's where it's going. But I mean, I give them a great chance, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if they can, I mean, we're gonna again. This is something I like about the particular finals matchup we have is Mike Malone versus Spo. These are 2 X's and O's type of guys, 2 great coaches that are gonna continue to make adjustments game to game. So I definitely think, personally, I think Game 3 goes to Denver, just because I think with
a bounce back.
One, they're gonna bounce back.
Yeah,
you'd have to think that eventually MPJ and KCP are going to find what they've had the entire postseason. I don't think the Heat are going to shoot 50% from 3 again. I think they were at like 48 or 49%.
Yep.
And then the insertion of Tyler Hero has a potential to really kind of mess things up.
Yeah,
because it is your number 2 option all season long. He's 21 points per game, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And you're going to try to get him looks. You're going to try to get him shots. But let's say it's not falling.
Yeah,
that's a big thing for Spo to do. Like, do you sit him?
That difference of like force feeding versus like going actually within the game.
Do you sit him, or do you go with sit him and go with what's got you to the NBA Finals, or do you?
Ride
one of your? That's
me
tough.
personally. I mean, there's been reports already that he doesn't want to throw off the rhythm of the team, which
Right.
again, to me is at least a great sign.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to where if you're able to play him and he doesn't, I guess, get out of character of coming back,
Yeah,
I think it'll be beneficial for them because obviously more spacing. So
I can see him taking
it's a risk versus a reward type of thing. I mean, I would say sit him out, but I think he's still very valuable as being a decoy, even if he does like 15, 20 minutes.
I think you start him right away and see what you got. I would be surprised if you wouldn't see him. If he starts, I would say they run a few plays for him right away.
Yeah, just to kind of see where he's at. Yeah, with his
But
legs and all that.
I mean, if he's there, I think it's really easy to slot him into what Caleb Martin's been doing because he's been fairly ineffective this series so far. Not saying he doesn't have a good game in him, but I think the matchup with Boston was a lot easier for him.
Yeah.
But I think he could be somebody that maybe suffers with.
But I think it's also to where like someone like him maybe could possibly benefit because he can knock down shots, but more so he's better as a slasher in that sense against at least this team for right now. So it's kind of just like that risk and reward type of thing. Like, okay, if we have him out there, can provide some spacing, but if we don't have him out there, obviously we've been rolling with what we got, so we're not losing, anything really. So it's tough though. It's tough.
I mean, I want to ask you, your boy, Bam Adebayo, proving your ass wrong.
I mean,
he looks incredible.
Yeah, he doesn't make sense.
No, he doesn't.
He went from being like, this man could not put a 4-foot bunny into the basket.
Yeah, for like
and he's getting the same shots. Like it's a similar style of shots, but I just think more so because he knows that he can score on Jokic, and he knows that Jokic is going to score on him. It's just he's playing within the flow of the game. I think Boston, he was just too worried because that they were actually great defensively for the big man that they had. But
I like what they're doing,
like
with
crazy turnaround.
I like what they're doing by pulling him out of the paint, which gives him space because Jokic is going to try to stay off him and give Bam space because Jokic doesn't want to let cutters and free looks at the rim.
And he knows Bam can get past.
So he's giving Bam like 8 feet while Bam's catching it just inside the 3-point line. And then he's got all room to play make. I mean, what we see 4 assists this past game, which is pretty solid, I think. Bam's not really known as a passer. Anything over 3 or 4, I feel like is pretty good. And he had a lot of secondary assists where he'd kick it to a shooter on the wing and then they'd pop it to the corner. But yeah, I really like what Bam's doing. He's, in my opinion, been the most effective player through the first 2 games. At least for Miami. Jimmy's obviously struggling to get to the cup and get a lot of points in there. Aaron Gordon's doing a great job on him. But again, Jimmy had 9 assists and was able to play make a lot, do a lot of driving kick. And when you're shooting 50% from 3 that game, I mean, that's really effective with the driving kick game for Jimmy.
Because he's just showing up at the right times now.
Right.
Like
he had 9 in
the
4th again.
He's just picking the right time to actually look for his shot when he needs to. I think more so now, like we kind of saw it a little bit in the Boston series of when Boston's coming back, that at least I felt he was really forcing a lot of things towards the latter part in the series. Right. I think in this series, I haven't really seen him force anything that's like out of his nature, but the fact that he's coming in the 4th quarter and then having at least one more player, aka like a Duncan Robinson, show up with him just to kind of relieve that pressure. So he's showing up when it matters. Like, I mean, kind of like you said in your video too. So showing up when it matters, that's the most important thing.
A question I have, one is Jokic obviously had a monster game at 41 and 11. Obviously only 4 assists. There was really not much ball movement in general. Jamal Murray had 10 assists, but I guarantee you 8 or 9 of those were to Jokic in the 2-man game. So how do we feel Denver tries to adjust going into this next game? Because it's tough, I feel like, with the way they play ball if their shooters aren't knocking down shots.
Yeah.
I feel like Miami kind of figured that out. So is this just going to have to be Jamal Murray hitting tough shots? I mean, he did in the third, or at the end of the game, he pulled it from a 12-point game to a 1-possession game, and he almost hit the game tire. That could have gone to overtime. He hit it. It was halfway down and bounced out, but I don't know. I think it feels like Miami already semi-figured this out a bit. So
you kind of knew with that game
they can adjust.
you knew it kind of like that game one, how it was kind of going to go with that feeler. And again, with this team, it's you've seen it. And especially with them and Coach Spo, it's all about adjustments. And I think you kind of saw when they had that little clip of Jimmy and Gabe Vincent talking on the way out. Like you see that it's okay, yeah, we just kind of got to figure out what we got to do. We came in with this game plan. We kind of know what to do. I think with this team though, it's easier for them to deal with Jokic being a scorer. Like, I don't think it really matters if Jokic is a scorer versus a passer. Like, I still think their team, Denver, is going to be great. I think obviously they benefit more with him being a passer. But I think in this case here, it's just kind of pick your poison. Luckily, that Denver wasn't knocking down shots in the second game. And you kind of just got to live with Jokic getting 40 to 50 points, and then hopefully nobody else hits shots. So I think that's just kind of what really what they're banking on at this point, which is something that I think will work out in their favor in the series.
Okay.
So
yeah, I agree with that. I feel like there's not really a massive amount of adjustments to make. I think maybe scheming up some plays to get guys better looks outside of like just, because we were saying that when they did catch the ball on the perimeter, it felt like a Heat player was right in their grill every time. So finding a way to get more open looks with off-ball screens and, maybe some Warriors type of offense.
Yeah, where you're running something here, but it's actually
right. It's actually for somebody over here, and you have the guy that can do it. Jokic and Murray are both proven passers and can get you 10 assists a game. So I definitely think we'll see something like that. But guys got to knock down shots because that's all fun and games. But if you got a wide open look, Porter had a few like wide open threes, and he didn't catch those. 2 of them in the corner. KCP and Bruce Brown only shot, I think, 5 threes combined. Yeah, KCP and they only had 4 threes shot combined in the first game. I would like to see them get shots up, even if they are contested.
Should be taking that many.
Game. He should be 5 or 6 a game on his own.
Brown should be at like 2.
Yeah, so I'd like to see some more volume. Aaron Gordon for me has been phenomenal for them through 2
games. I think you're getting. I believe he's just kind of blown it out of the water, like of what I thought he was actually going to do. He's like taking advantage of the matchup when he has it, but he's playing within his game.
He seems to be the
That's
most
what you needed
as well. Actively cutting, works really good with Jokic in the 2-man game outside of Jamal. He's knocked down a few threes in both games in total.
Yeah,
but I feel like I don't know. I kind of feel like Miami might have taken the driver's seat. I felt. It was only a 3-point game, so that's kind of where I'm sitting. Like they shot 50%. They played so great. They had a huge game from Gabe Vincent, and yet they still only won by 3 with Denver shooting. I don't know, what was it? 3-point. They still shot 40%, which is pretty good.
I was gonna say Miami's actually
hit, I think, 3 or 4 of them.
Miami's on pace to shoot 39-point-something% over the course of the whole playoffs from deep, which would actually be the NBA record. So, I mean, it's not like this is something new. Obviously,
they don't take a ton.
50 is not.
35 is a lot for them, I feel
50 is a ton of 50 isn't normal, but they've been doing it. So, that's it. I mean, it's clearly a recipe for success. Another thing, I don't know if you guys saw, MPJ today said that when they're on defense and they're calling out switch or, stick, whatever it may be, the Heat players are responding to what the defense is communicating. So if a screener comes up and they switch, the screener then pops and or just leaves the screen
rather than following the play.
And then
if the play was a pick and roll,
and if there's no switch, then they switch.
Then they say pick and pop.
Okay. So they're letting Denver basically dictate their offense by they're responding to the defensive action.
Running first, quick audibles and whatever.
Which
that's kind of
and that's I think that's probably a Coach Spo thing, right? Like trust your guys, have them do what you believe they can do. I think this group, I think they've been talking about it, right? It's a bunch of high IQ guys who, all bought into the same thing. So, and I mean, clearly working. Denver's going to have to figure out how to be able to play defense and communicate without communicating. Because if they're going to be taking advantage of them like that, they're going to have to figure it out. I think that could be a really big thing. Like you got a guy like MPJ, who's not a great defender. He needs that communication.
He's competent though.
Yeah, but he needs that communication, right?
He's competent because of talent, not necessarily.
Yeah, he's long. He's got the size to be able to stay in front of guys. If he's got people telling him where to go, where to be, and what to look out for, he'll be fine. if he doesn't have that, and if they can't, communicate on defense, it could be scary.
Yeah.
But I think this game 3 will be fairly telling.
I was gonna say game 3. You got.
Oh. I honestly have no clue. I'm gonna go Denver. I feel like Miami's a more responsive team.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with, at least for this game 3. I think I'm gonna go with Miami. I'm gonna go with them, and I think Denver will probably take game 4. That's what I'm gonna go.
I'll go with Denver. Again, like I said, I feel a little bit slight regression to the mean. Obviously, 50% is a lot to hold up at 3-point. I think Tyler Hero might shake things up a little bit too much. Again, we'll see how Spo reacts to that, but I'll go Denver winning game 3. But I'm sticking by coming back to Denver 2 apiece. Next thing to talk about, we're going to run into 2 more coaches. Last week we talked about
Adrian Griffin to Milwaukee,
yes, and the other one was
Nick Nurse to Philadelphia.
Nick Nurse to Philly. Thank you.
And we talked about potential landing spots that made sense for Monty,
which turned out being the Detroit Pistons.
Yep.
And Frank Vogel to Phoenix. So with those moves in the past last week, we're going to focus on these 2 this week. Between Monty to Detroit, Frank to Phoenix, what do we feel was the better signing? Who is set up for more success? Who's set up, obviously I would probably say Frank is probably more immediate success, but I just mean in general during the tenure of their both 5-year contracts, I believe.
Monty's
Monty is
6 years, 82 million, but has options or clauses that can turn it into an 8-year, $100 million contract.
Okay, so over the tenure of the 5 years, they'll just stay there. Like, who do we think is gonna have the most success? I like Detroit. I like their core. I like the James Wiseman trade. Looked really good at post James Wiseman trade. Love Jaden Ivey. They've got other assets.
They've got a lot. I mean, they've almost
another top pick.
They got Jalen Duren.
I was about to pop up the rest of their roster because they have so many young guys.
Yeah, like Cade's gonna come back.
Bojan, Killian Hayes.
I still think Bojan gets traded.
Yeah, I think this is the year that he will get traded, though, for sure. I know there was rumors about it last year, even though they signed him to an extension. But I think this year, now with Monty fully in, like, just kind of go. I think he's really the last piece to really go.
Him and Alek Burks
both somewhere. So
traded.
The vets.
Yeah, Corey Joseph could go. I mean,
the rest of the team though is pretty solid.
Yeah. And I mean,
at least from a youth standpoint.
Yeah. I really like Jalen Duren a lot. And I think with the Wiseman trade, like, Wiseman looked really good after. Obviously, Duren did go down, so we didn't get to see them play in the same game.
Right, because I feel like they're both
very often
very opposite and might.
Yeah, but they're both like centers.
Yeah,
like, they're
right.
not
But I'm saying
guys
like
you can play on the floor together.
You can run them at like a 4 or 5 in a sense.
I mean, it's hard to say because modern basketball.
I hate modern basketball. Yeah,
it's going to be so hard for them to keep up with other teams.
Right.
But at the same time, if they can work it out, you have that advantage inside over any team. But as we've seen, just we talked about it, the only category that Miami really won in the last game was 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
But making 6 more threes, turns out to be the difference.
They also didn't have Cade too much throughout that season.
Yeah, he did get
So I think I think you've really seen that Monty can work with like a young team and actually develop.
Yeah.
I just hope that he kind of gets the chance to actually let it come to fruition a bit.
Right, and that's why I kind of was saying, like, do we think of a more obviously because Frank is set up to win like next year.
Yeah.
Like the teams are ready to win now. This team is more or less.
I mean, I've heard, don't get me wrong. I believe Frank Vogel is a good coach. Like, obviously, he's more of a defensive coach. His offense is typically middle of the road in what we've really seen. I mean, he can create a good offense, especially now he has Devin Booker and Kevin Durant heading the snake for this team.
Yeah, you don't really got to do much with them.
No. But I think if we're talking about at least like how we kind of pinpointed 4 to 5 years of what coach probably have more success now, I'll define it as like the regular season. And I I kind of guess exceeding expectations, I'm gonna go with Monty Williams as the better option there.
Yeah.
I think we've actually seen him being able to take a team from the ground up, along with his philosophies and along with the coaching staff, to actually bring teams along. Frank Vogel, he's not really known as like a developmental type of guy. He's more known for like coming in and using the established talent that the players are and just upping the defense a little bit more. The offense on his part is a little bit shaky, but
they did keep.
I'm going with Monty in Detroit.
They kept Monty's top offensive assistant in Phoenix. They made him the highest paid assistant coach in the league. And so he'll probably be the primary offensive guy.
Yeah,
which bodes well for Phoenix, in my opinion, kind of keeping that Vogel to be the work out the defense and they
bring some guys in though.
Yeah,
for defense.
I mean,
they're
gonna bring guys in regardless. They don't even have enough bodies on that team.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, when you brought up exceeding expectations, I think the issue that comes for Frank is that the expectation is a title.
Exactly.
And anything but is falling short, right? And what's exceeding 2, 3 titles? Like for him to actually exceed expectations, like they have to be truly dominant. Whereas like the Pistons, they don't even have to be mediocre next season.
Thunder.
Right. Like they're on a path where it's like, as long as you see growth and improvement, you're happy. So I think in terms of perspective, it does skew, I think, the outcomes of these coaches. Obviously, if in 2 years this Pistons team's in the playoffs, then obviously Monty's blown things out of the water.
Yeah, right.
But I think it's kind of set up where Monty's in a good spot where it's harder to fail as long as because you've got guys. I think Cade's that guy.
Yeah.
Duren, in my opinion, worst case scenario, is going to be a very solid center in this league for a while. Killian Hayes can kind of distribute the ball.
Could be a good backup.
Yeah. I think he's happy though to actually work with a big man, at least 3 big men who are not afraid to get down and dirty in the paint. Like I think that's one of the things that will get this team to go where they really want to be, is because he already has the guards. He already has the 2 guards set, and then now he has 2 to 3 centers that can get you double-digit rebounds, that can get you something in the post, and especially with what he can do with Wiseman. And I believe Wiseman is more versatile than a DeAndre Ayton. So I think that is something that obviously they threw the brink truck at him, but I think this is something that really enticed him, is that, okay, I got my guards, and now I finally have my 2-3 big men that I can rotate, I can cater to their game, and they're going to do what I want them to do. And they're still young at that age. So
yeah, I think when you look at just overall both coaches, they definitely were placed into the best fit for the type of coaches that they are.
Yeah.
That's what I would probably say is the best thing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in Vitor's boat. I think Monty, or actually we all said that, I believe.
Yeah.
Is definitely set up for the most success, especially long term.
To see, like, I'm looking at this roster and it's like there is a little bit too much. Like, I feel like they've got a lot of point guards and a lot of centers.
Yeah, they're missing
a lot of wings.
Yeah, a lot of wing play.
So
but that could be something they target.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they kind of move around this team, because I just don't see a logical situation where you have a Wiseman, a Duren, a Stewart, and a Bagley all on the same roster playing meaningful minutes.
I forgot about Bagley too.
Yeah, all 4 of them are on the roster. It's like, at some point, at least one of them is going to have to go, right? Be sacrificed for more necessary positions. So,
because I think more so at that point when you're looking at it, I think it's probably going to be more so Bojan, and then I would say, I don't want to say his name, but I'm going to say it, Isaiah Stewart, because he's a smaller. Isaiah Stewart is the smaller of the bunch, not really of a versatile game, more of like an old school big.
Well,
but
he shoots threes. He
improved his 3, but I think more so because he's smaller. Like, it's really no in between game like you see with a Bagley, a James Wiseman, and Duren is just a beast athletically, which is obviously what you need. But I think those are going to be the top 2 candidates we got to look at, is Bojan, and then obviously I think Isaiah Stewart, unfortunately, but we'll see though. It's also with the market. I'm curious with the market because people wanted to go to Phoenix. So it's going to be interesting to see if people want to go to Detroit. So we'll just have to take a look and see it, obviously, throughout the years.
I don't think so.
What you got in Detroit besides Little Caesars?
Detroit child pizza. All right, last bit for the NBA. Carmelo Anthony calling it quits, man. In my opinion, one of the most talented players to ever play the game. Obviously, was never able to really get it done in the playoffs. Never got a ring. What did he make? I don't even know if he made a conference finals. Did the Knicks make a run?
He made one with Denver.
With Denver, he did.
That's when they lost to the Lakers.
Yeah, that's fair. That was what, 08, 09?
I think, yeah. And then the Lakers went on to win the title anyway, yeah.
So that would be 09 then.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
08 was Boston.
Yeah.
Who beat the Lakers. But the question we had, Danny, you had posed of should he have his number retired by Denver? And then the question I was thinking of was, do we feel that he is an all-time player? And then where do we kind of feel he's ranked all-time?
Well, I'll at least go with the first portion. I do not believe he should get his number retired in Denver. Nice. I think Jokic deservedly should have his number retired by Denver when it's all said and done, because he has accomplished way more in his shorter time than Carmelo Anthony has, in my opinion. So I think that it's unfortunate, because I do not think there would be solid basketball in Denver if it wasn't for Carmelo Anthony coming, because obviously that team won, I think, less than 20 games the year before Carmelo comes. They win 30 to 40 games and are actually in the playoff picture.
Right, because he was what, the second, or he was the third pick overall in 03.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. He had a great career, great player, but I just think it's the wrong place at the wrong time for him. Denver shouldn't retire his number, unfortunately.
Interesting.
Jokic has done way more so far in his career than Carmelo has.
I mean, not really. They both haven't won anything. At least he has an MVP, but what does that mean for the
team farther? He's taking the team farther. MVP
caliber. That don't mean nothing.
Hey, if we're
at the end of the day, in 20 years,
so then we're gonna.
I was about to say, in 20 years, if Joker doesn't have a championship, they've done the same shit for Denver that he has.
He got them to the finals, very first finals. So and it's nitpicking. It sucks, but he's done more.
At this point, I will say yes. But like I said, in 20 years, if they don't have a chip, I'm on your ass.
He's gonna be like,
but I would probably agree with you, unfortunately. It's tough to say.
It sucks.
It's tough to say because he has done quite a bit. I mean, we have his accolades pulled up. 10-time All-Star.
And what? So 3 of those came. No, 4
never
of those
made
in Denver.
Yeah.
Or 3. Yeah, 4 in Denver. What?
Yes.
Second team and 3 third teams in Denver.
Yeah.
All NBA.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Knicks award, rookie
scoring
first team.
champ, but that was in New York.
Yeah, he won he was a rookie, all rookie first team.
Dude, this is a freaking Chris Paul ass NBA 75th team. There is no way he should be on that.
Chris Paul's got a higher all-time ranking than Carmelo, and I don't think that's much of a debate.
So the reason I asked is because I don't think from a career and accolade standpoint that he's an all-time player, but again, I do believe that talent-wise, what he was able to do.
I don't even think you can. The thing is about that, I don't even think you can say talent-wise. I just think offensively. I just think he. I think he is.
You ever watch clips of him?
No, I have. I watched them, but I'm just saying. I think when we talk about talent,
the fact he doesn't have a rookie of the year is ridiculous.
I'm looking more so at he should have won rookie of the year. LeBron won that.
I'm just saying that the ability to shoot the ball from all 3 steps, he was huge at his position.
Yeah,
when he came into the league.
Yeah,
there was nobody that size.
Yeah, at the 3, and that's why he dominated the post.
Jab step was crazy.
I mean, I'm just saying he could get to the cup easily.
He's an all-time Olympic player. That man would go off in the Olympics and other FIBA competitions. But
I think he's an all-time talent. I do agree he's not definitely an all-time player.
He's going to be one of those guys when we're
a Chuck,
10 15 years down.
But at least Chuck had an MVP.
Yeah, 10 15 years down the line, the only thing we're going to have about him is the nostalgia of oh, remember him? We'll be like, oh man, every rebound, I got this shit, give me that shit. We're not going to be sitting here raving about how, Carmelo, how we were blessed to watch Carmelo play and things like that. Like it's ultimately.
Shit, I think so.
You think? You think,
bro?
I feel like people already don't talk about Carmelo, and he's been out the league for a year.
Well, yeah.
I mean, granted, I understand. I mean, if I kind of understand where you're coming from, I mean, C's is like they will be talking about his game, but not more so of like the accolades of
They're
what
not going to be talking about Carmelo, but yes, they'll be talking about his game, what he was able to do. I feel like he transformed that position a little bit.
I mean, he's definitely a big reason as
He was,
to why.
in my opinion, he was just ahead of his game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the ability to shoot the ball at that size.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, 'cause if you look at the other guys who are kind of like around the same
Right,
side, you got
look
like
at
Kenyon
LeBron.
Martin Jr.
LeBron is usually the one person that you usually compare because they were in the same draft class, same everything. LeBron was more bully ball early in that career, and that was more of what the era was.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing. I think Kenyon Martin.
Like imagine a Carmelo level athlete coming into the league right now. That'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. It is tough. I do agree with you. I'm not entirely certain that he should get his.
Yeah,
I feel like he might though. I feel like New York might do it.
I feel like his career in New York was a little bit more iconic than his career in,
because he had a lot more crazy scoring performances.
Yeah, his 63 against the Bobcats, right? Was it? But also, I think that the Knicks are one, a bigger franchise than Denver, and two, like that was their first taste.
I feel like
in 20 years.
I was gonna say I feel like he really brought
New
New
York
York back from the depths.
Yeah.
Like Denver was already trash.
Yeah.
Which was fine, and they weren't great. They still kind of struggled.
Denver had nowhere to go but here. But New York was here when
he went down, and Melo brought them back.
Yeah.
So I agree they could. New York might, but New York also got a lot of good players.
Don't discredit my guy Steve Novak.
But New York wouldn't retire his 15 though. So that's
but it is tough. He's in a tough spot, man. He's in a tough
it is.
spot.
It sucks. Like the fact that you like that this guy.
I personally believe he is very, very all time. I mean, you're NBA 75. You know what I'm saying? Like you are all time.
Yeah,
that's all time. You know what I mean? You're one of that means that motherfuckers voted you one of the 75 best players of all time. So the talent was there, but when the accolades are hella thin, man.
Yeah,
it is.
The accolades are not rewarding of a retiring.
Yeah, and to have been known as primarily a scorer, to have one scoring title on your resume.
Well, you mean Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
LeBron James, Kobe Bryant.
How many scoring titles has LeBron?
James Harden, Steph.
Just
LeBron's got at least one in there.
I think he does have at least one.
He's got to have at least one, maybe two with Miami.
I'm sorry, like Dwight Howard should have made the top 75 list, but he didn't. But that was political.
Dwight Howard is a better. I would put him over Carmelo all time.
I put him over Dame.
So I put him over Carmelo all time.
LeBron does have one.
Yeah. Okay.
2008. Well, he's also got an assist leader, MVPs.
Don't look at that.
Finals MVP.
LeBron the GOAT. LeBron the GOAT. All I'm seeing.
I'm a non-LeBron GOAT guy, and I'm still here hyping him up compared to Melo.
I'm sticking that. Okay. That's the point, though.
Yeah. Melo's in that league of guys who, like, had they been in the right spots, like, I think of, like, if Hondo never got surrounded by some of the best players in the league, I feel like that's the kind of where Carmelo would be kind of looked at as, like, a Havlicek. But, he was lucky enough to play with some of the best players in the league at his time and win a lot of championships. So that's the big difference.
Yeah. Sucks. But we'll see. Maybe Jokic will change his number. Who knows?
Boy, I'm about to live on forever. I'm about to get so much hate for comparing Carmelo to Hondo.
Yeah.
You probably will.
One way or another. Gonna be old people mad at me for comparing Hondo to Melo, and young people mad at me for comparing Melo to Hondo.
Right. So let's go MLB. I'm going to go MLB. And the biggest news, I feel like, personally, is Jacob DeGrom.
Yep.
So he's actually been out since the end of April. I believe the exact date's like the 28th or the 29th.
29th. Because they put him on the 60-day.
They put him on the 15-day.
Well, no, they recently put him on the 60-day.
They put him on the 15-day twice and then just put him on the 60-day.
Yeah.
Retroactive to the 29th. So he was eligible to come back on the 28th of this month, but
But
He's not.
drum roll, please. He's out for the season. Tommy John.
Unfortunate.
He signed a massive 5-year deal
Oh yeah, I was
in the
actually
off season.
I had an
So
article.
Thankfully,
5-year, 100.
thankfully for Texas, this is year 1. So he is still 34, I believe. Still in his prime. I mean, obviously, as a pitcher, primes are usually extended a lot longer. Look at Verlander and Scherzer are still into their 40s, being maybe not as dominant as they were a couple years ago, but effective. But it's concerning for me with DeGrom because it's now been 3 years running where he has yet to put a consistent stretch of games together. He had a great start to last season or 2 seasons ago, I'm sorry. But again, the back half of the season barely pitched. Forearm strain, lat strain, elbow inflammation, blisters on the like it's one thing, if it's not one thing, it's the other. And it just feels it's getting old. It's getting old.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm honestly happy that I don't have to hear about another DeGrom injury for another year. Because it's just getting old. As a fan who loves watching low scoring
you're
pitching duels.
That's for sure. You're a pitcher guy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have yet to watch. I've watched him pitch like once this year.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And the Rangers have been prime time. They've been dynamite, bro.
Yes.
Anthony Eovaldi. John Gray's been insane. Simeon, did he get a hit today? Because that's for 25 game hit streak. Corey Seager is looking like worth every penny.
Yeah.
They're up 6-2 now. So
Josh Young is a freaking rookie of the year candidate.
Is it Aldanis Garcia?
Right. Adolis Garcia is probably going to be an all-star.
Well, he's 3 for 3 today.
Josh Young.
Josh Young,
however you want to say it. Rookie of the year, probably a rookie all-star. The team's fucking cracked. And yet, the guy they spent 190 on, I don't know. It's getting old.
It's just unfortunate. It's a lot of those what ifs. I was when they made the post, I was looking through the comments just to kind of see what people were saying, and they were comparing him to like the D Rose. He's the D Rose of MLB.
It's feeling like it a little bit.
Which I mean, at this point, I feel like I can say because really he's never put a consistent, I guess, like you said, string together at all.
Since he's become DeGrominator. Since he's become what we all know, dude's put like 3-4 consistent seasons together.
Less than a handful, that's for sure.
2 were Cy Youngs. Yep. One he lost to, I think, was Kershaw, and the other one he lost, I can't remember.
Ooh. It was a good head-to-head though that he lost.
It might have been Kershaw twice because Kershaw's got 5 of them things. Either way, it's annoying.
Yeah, I just wanted him to stay healthy. Like the team's actually doing well. They spent money on him. I just wanted to see that whole team like actually be.
Bro, that team would be incredible. I still think they're going to be incredible because, like I said, John Gray has really emerged as a true number 2 behind Eovaldi, which is crazy because Eovaldi was supposed to be their number 2 now.
Yeah.
And Martin Perez had a fairly solid start yesterday. He's kind of grabbing his footing. He's a hit or miss kind of guy, though.
Yeah, better at home. But he's every once in a while gets touched up.
3 of them. There it is. Oh, a Triple Crown. I remember that year.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy. But, yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion. Next steps, get healthy.
They said he did come out and say his goal is to be back before the end of next season. I don't think so. I think the Rangers are just going to take their time. He's going to end up being in year 3 of the contract. I think at that point, let's not rush anything. They'll be good, I think, regardless. Maybe he comes out.
I think if they're, for me, if I'm thinking you're in June, that's halfway through the season. He could definitely come back post All-Star break next year.
Yeah.
And if you just get him a spot start here and there to get his feet back under him, just get him ready for the playoffs. I mean, this team is set up for success for the next few years. Again, you've got a couple guys dominating on rookie contracts.
Yep.
You've got a couple guys that you just recently signed within the last year or 2.
And they're not afraid to spend. So
we've seen that recently.
That's one thing. They're not afraid to spend. So
yeah.
got that on their side at least.
And I think in baseball, it's a sport where you see if a team tastes a little success, they get hungrier.
Yep.
In most cases, right?
Yeah.
So,
Usually,
yeah,
like
unless you're the
they might be a
Giants.
team that moves for a starter at the deadline for sure.
Yeah. A starter reliever as we were looking at their numbers.
Bro, hey,
even though they don't make sense.
Alek Manoah.
Take a chance on him. But I don't think Toronto gives up on him. I don't think Toronto gives up on him.
No. God, no. You've already seen what he could be.
It's going to be one of those things where like the money, whatever you get back is just not going to be worth what you could have in him. And if you have control, you're just better off holding on to him and hoping he can get back to it.
Yeah, I agree.
See.
Career 2.53 ERA for DeGrom.
Yeah.
Once a season at 32 games played at 1.7 in one of his 2 Cy Young years is disgusting.
He has 2 of the lowest ERAs, I think, of all time for a whole season. Something stupid like that.
The fact is that, you're throwing a 95 mile an hour slider. It's going to do damage.
Yeah, he should come back a little stronger, I think. A lot of times that Tommy John, when healed up correctly, really he might be throwing freaking 105, bro.
Yeah,
honestly.
We'll see.
But
105
an hour.
We did mention Alek Manoah. So came on as a rookie 2 years ago, really solid, really made an emergence in his second year last year. He actually finished 3rd in the Cy Young voting last year behind Dylan and Verlander. Coming off of that has just been piss poor.
Oh,
so if we look at last year, finished with a 2.24 ERA. He was 16-7. I believe he had a 5 point something WAR, if I can find it. Goodness gracious, where's it go?
Oh, maybe.
Hold on, ESPN will have it. Either way, but this year he's got like a 6.7 something ERA. Here we go. The WAR, 5.9 last year. That is astronomically high for a pitcher.
Yeah.
And a less than 1 WHIP, 180 Ks. God, just incredible. This year, negative 1.2 WAR in only 13 games, 6.36 ERA. He almost has a 2 WHIP, which is walks and hits per 9 innings per inning pitched.
Wait, look at his walks this season compared to the last 2 seasons.
Yes, he's already reached his walk total in 13 starts this season, then compared. So he has 42 through 13 starts and only 42 walks in 58 innings. Last year, he had 51 walks in almost 200 innings.
And the year before that, 40 in 111.
Yeah. So something's off. I mean, from the article I was reading, they were saying that it's not just a plethora of physical issues, it's a plethora of mental issues as well.
Yeah.
Struggling with, don't throw the ball here rather than telling yourself to throw a strike here, like just different little tweaks like that. And when you're kind of on the mound in defensive mode, I don't know, the best hitters in the world can feel that, and no matter what you throw, it feels like these motherfuckers are hitting with a tennis racket. Or that shit's just going 100.
Let alone the best hitters in the world.
Well, I mean, it's not just the Astros that have teed him up,
but those
every team he's pitched against has teed his ass up.
Yeah,
he's got 1 good start against the Yankees, good start against Kansas City.
I mean, he's got a couple of 2 earned runs as well, but like you also got to.
It's not
that's right. So if you're coming off of a couple of 2-run games when you're coming off of a almost a sub-2 ERA season.
Like, and I mean, if you're looking to even on some of these lower
6, 4, 5, 7, 5. Like these are big games, bro.
Yeah, but it's also
a lot of walks.
Yeah, and it's a lot if you look at the innings pitched too. A game where it's like, okay, 4 earned runs isn't a terrible game. In 3 innings, it is.
Yeah. That's because he can't throw strikes, so his total pitches are up because you're looking at 3 innings, 90 pitches, 4 innings, 92, 4 innings, 94. You know what I'm saying?
Man, they're being really generous with this game score though against Houston.
I'm just saying. I don't know. What do you think? We were talking about it. Danny, you can talk on it a little bit. You don't think they're gonna give up on him at the
I mean you still got him for the cheap money for right now. It's not like they paid him or anything like that, if I'm not mistaken.
No, not yet.
Still within his regular service time, obviously the cheaper contract. But I think obviously there's still a lot there. You know what he can accomplish. You said it, third place in the Cy Young Award. I think it's just a lot of mental issues now. And I think too, no one really like. I think he's kind of gotten out of character, especially like we've seen little clips here and there of him, like trash talking a lot more so other teams now, and I feel like it's just been become a lot more,
especially at the end of last year. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I just think that okay, hey, we're figuring you out. Where's your talk now? So I think that just has a lot to do with it. It's just a lot of a mental game that he's really playing with himself at this point. But
yeah, I agree.
Regardless, he's a great talent. We know what he can do. We know what he can do to help this team, the Blue Jays. I mean, I think you obviously got to ride it out, obviously, till the wheels fall off. And you know what? However many years he has on his regular contract before the extension comes or arbitration, that's what you can do. The Blue Jays to where they can't really take a chance on him going to another team and then him regaining his form. Especially with
he signed a 1 year $730,000 or $745.
There you go. So probably from
dollar contract to avoid arbitration.
Okay.
This year, so he is eligible for contract again coming after this season.
Like a regular, like a full on extension or arbitration.
Yeah, like he's.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
I believe by sending him down, they had to alter the contract a bit as well.
Yeah, baseball's funky with all the.
But either way, I think I'm with Danny at this point. You've already seen the potential, and I do agree that teams are figuring him out, and he's just struggling at handling with that. But again, when I feel like the Blue Jays put a lot of chips on him when they got rid of Robbie Ray, they chose to back him up. They added Kevin Gausman, which I think is kind of alleviating a little bit of that. But again, when you were expecting a 1-2 punch, and now you've only got a one punch, because Kikuchi can only do so much. Yeah. There's other guys that just. Again,
but Kikuchi's been better though. Like that.
But like you were expecting, 2 Cy Young candidates, and you're getting one. And now one's not even throwing every other 5th day, so definitely tough for them. But I think they were saying he's going to go down there to work on his physical game, work on his mental game. I'd be surprised if he didn't come back up within a couple months.
Yeah, I think at least if you send him that far to work on his game, it's not a quick couple of weeks. I think I
think give him a month and a half.
Yeah, a quarter of the season at least. I think you gotta keep him down there. So,
do you think he takes the path up, like runs through like Double-A?
I think you have to. Yeah. You can't. I think you have to.
I would say at least probably to Triple-A.
Yeah. I think he'll make maybe a start, throw some innings in Double-A. It feels like a rehab from like maybe like a mental injury or something. You know what I'm saying? Not to like call that, but like, he needs to find his confidence again. Yeah. It's pitching, hitting, most of this stuff is all confidence.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of talk saying that you talked about it too, on the mound, that I guess it's a little bit slippery or something with the new Rogers Center.
Oh yeah,
and he's been. I guess that's been something because he's been worse at home, but he still hasn't been great on the road. So it's not. That's clearly not the only thing. Yeah. Do you think that is a factor legitimately, or do you think that's kind of more so just kind of creating an excuse for whatever's going on?
No, I think it might be just an excuse, but he's also come through and he's taken accountability. Yeah. He's not the one. He's not dancing around. He's not. I mean, we've seen that from him last year. He's speaks to the media. Mm-hmm. He is very open about things that he does and says and how he pitches and whatnot. But no, I think he's pretty accountable and realizing that this is probably the best step for them. If he wants to come back up. Good thing is he's only 25.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be. Best thing for him could be starting off on a new team next year or something. Yeah, which I think could bode really well for a contender to get him on a cheap contract. Because even if he can return to 3.5 ERA, something along those lines,
like your third starter.
That's huge. That's still huge because he's got nasty stuff. He just, again, like I was saying, needs to find the confidence, get that stuff back going,
get the control back.
Yep. Yeah. But let's talk about one more thing. Luis Arraez.
He's at 401.
Luis Arraez.
Is that 3 for the day or 2?
He had 2 last I checked.
He had 2 last I checked, but if you got up to 401, okay, no, that was 2.
No, that makes sense because he was
Yeah.
at 399 going into this game, and you bet
Crazy.
500, so you go
Yeah.
up a couple points. Yeah, he's batting 401. They are officially through.
They're 34 and 28, so 62 games.
52 games. Now, if we go, I pulled up some statistics of some of the best starts to a 60-game season. Dear Lord. Some of the best starts to a 60-game season since 2000 among qualifying hitters. Obviously, you have to have a certain amount of at-bats. You can't just hit twice, bat 500 and call it a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Luis Arraez is actually slotting in. So he was at 392 through 60 games. So he's actually raised his batting average 9 points since in the last 2 games. But Joe Mauer was first in 2009. He was batting 415. I believe that was his MVP season as well. Chipper Jones was batting 409 in 2008. Todd Helton was tied. Remember Todd Helton?
Todd Helton was the beast.
Rockies first baseman. You should remember that. I don't know when you really started watching baseball, but yeah, he was terrorizing the West back in the day. And then Albert Pujols in one of his MVP seasons was batting 388. So I mean, Joe Mauer, I believe, is going to be a potential Hall of Famer if he's not already.
Yeah.
Chipper Jones is already a Hall of Famer. Pujols is a future Hall of Famer. I mean, I think you have to wait 5 years before you can be eligible. Todd Helton might be as well, actually.
Yeah, he might be in there.
Joe Mauer should be eligible.
Joe
soon.
Mauer, 38th member of the Twins Hall of Fame.
He should be soon because I'm pretty sure
Will Joe Mauer get into the Hall of Fame? Will be eligible for the first time in 2024.
Yeah, so he hasn't stopped playing that recent enough. But yeah, these are 4 other guys that are going to be Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
like that's a very impressive thing. And shout out to the Twins for being stupid enough to not pay him.
Yeah,
I love that.
I
think it was more complicated.
But I don't even think he would have been. I don't even because I don't even think he would have been in the full playing time position like he is right now.
because they have Carrera, they have Solano, they have pieces already.
Yeah,
and they would have had. It's better to have those guys than pay him a ton of money.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, it's good for him though. Good for the Marlins. Actually got a player that's a dog,
superstar.
So
Bro, it seems like every time they score, it's either because he was on base and they brought him in, or he knocked one guy or two in. It is like, and anytime they have a rally, he's on the starting bit of it. It is insane.
You know what's funny for me is probably the craziest stat of all is if you look at he's got a 946 on base plus slugging, and yet he's only got 1 home run.
I was gonna say that 495 slugging is impressive considering the fact that it just seems like he's
on base about 50% of the time.
Yeah, but
his slugging's only 500. So to have almost a 1,000 OPS and only have 1 home run and 1 triple is stupid.
Also, I was gonna say 495 for his slugging feels high.
It does kind of feel high.
Like,
that boy just be hitting singles.
It's singles. Every
he only got 15 doubles.
Every once in a while, you'll see a double that scores 2.
But what is that?
Today was one of them.
17
extra base hits.
That's 68. Yeah, 68 singles, and you got a 500 slugging. Incredible. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring light to anyone that's living under a rock.
2.8 WAR this season.
Anyone that's living under a rock, that Luis Arraez is him. He will be, in my opinion, probably the best hitter in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Pure hitter. Obviously, there's Aaron Judge for power hitting, and I would say Bo Bichette. It's a pretty clear combination of both, along with Acuna. But Luis Arraez is the best pure hitter. It's unbelievable, the bat to ball skills. Doesn't matter if you throw him inside, outside. He'll pull it. And his eye is also what's incredible.
Yeah.
Just doesn't chase very much, doesn't strike out a lot. He's only got 11 strikeouts in 60 games, so that's
not bad at all.
No, not bad at all. So big shout out. I personally think he should be up there as an MVP candidate.
Yeah, I think now, especially the Marlins have picked up
because they're sitting in second right now.
Yeah,
only 2.5 behind the Braves, who haven't been too great over the last couple weeks.
Mhm.
So,
Well, yeah, the
and that's a
series-
division that also has what, New York and Philly.
Yeah,
Washington's not great, but yeah. Sorry,
I mean they're
I can
not
check
great,
right
but
here.
they're definitely not as
They're
bad
competitive.
as, yeah. People were thought they were going to be a pushover. They're not. They can hit the ball. Their pitching is a little bit.
They're starting to get much better talent now.
Yeah, no, they're hitting, like, there's a couple guys on that team that, like, I trust, coming up to the bat. It's just the pitching, I think, is a little bit lackluster. I like Mackenzie Gore a
Yeah.
lot, but I think he still has to work on a few things and kind of fine tune some things. But
Thunder should have kept them.
yeah, well, they are in full win now mode.
Yeah.
Still,
Not worked out for them, but hey, we take those.
I don't know. Should be MVP.
Luis, he weighs 175 pounds too, and that head probably makes up 50 pounds of it.
That boy got a big head. All right, so let's.
Just staring at
He got a big head. All right, so let's move on to one NFL piece. There's not much going on.
Yeah, it's just like the usual.
I'm waiting
camp
for
talks.
at least we can get to preseason and get some finalized rosters and stuff. But let's do DeAndre Hopkins talk. So this popped up what, 2 Sundays ago? No,
The release or the
2 Fridays ago.
yes.
So it'll
Release,
be
yeah.
a Friday and yeah, 2
Yeah.
Fridays ago. The release of DeAndre Hopkins. So again, like I was saying at the start of the episode, we kind of talked about it previously, but now that he is officially released, Cardinals don't want to pay him, whatever. He can sign anywhere. So what do we like? Who do we like? Where do we want? Who do we want? I got my answer, but it's kind of lame.
I want him to go somewhere non-competitive so that he's
What?
yeah, that way he's not a threat to the Niners Super Bowl hopes.
Non-competitive. I want him to go. Well, Danny, you go ahead.
I mean, we're thinking of one of two teams. So
One of 2 teams. Okay.
Okay, so
I'll say Dallas pulled out. Dallas said
Yeah.
they weren't pursuing.
well, there's
him.
a lot of teams that have seemed like if not pulled out, have kind of put up a wall based on
I
price.
want to say, I mean, personally, I want to say Kansas City, or
Okay.
I would say he'd be a great fit in Cleveland, reuniting with Deshaun.
They're saying he looks really good, but that's what they say about everyone at this time of year. So
Yeah, I think him DeAndre reuniting with Deshaun would be great, because the Cleveland needs a clear number one, in my opinion. They don't really have that, but I mean,
so does Kansas City.
but I think
Well,
him
they don't
and
need one.
would be great.
Yeah,
I
careful. You're gonna.
They already have their
Someone's
guy.
gonna
He's playing
snap
tight
on you
end.
again in the comments off of that.
Yeah.
They've got their number one at tight end.
But
Yeah,
I
but now give him a true number 1 at receiver.
Yeah, I think a good fit would be Cleveland with Amari Cooper, or obviously in Kansas City with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, all the other fucking weapons that they have. So yeah,
Isaiah
There's Cody.
Pacheco.
I don't think I just don't see the Bills as being a good fit. I don't think he'd go there. But
I think
I
the
think
Bills
it's a
would be
good
sick,
fit. I
That
don't
would
think it's
be.
gonna. I do think that they're.
but it
like,
would
there's-
clash a little bit.
Yeah, and there's also been some reports that he's that they believe he's too expensive because they're already like right at the cap marker. So like they would have to mess.
I
with
think they're
stuff to
okay,
find-
and I think they're still super high on Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, again, for good reason, he's shown flashes, but I need
Yeah.
more consistency.
So did,
which is exactly
what's
what
his
you can
name?
get out of
Khalil,
Hopkins.
the rookie that they drafted out of Boise,
Shakir.
Shakir. Yeah.
And they just drafted the top ranked tight end this year.
Yeah,
he fell all
he
the way to
showed some
28.
promise in a couple games
But
last
Shakir's
season.
correct.
Yeah.
They're gonna be nasty.
He's actually married to my sister's friend.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe we can.
Is that
We
the
ever
only
need to
reason you brought
guess?
him up?
No, it's because he
Just
had
kidding.
actually had the big game score.
No, dude, he's nasty.
Yeah,
He's nasty.
and I think he's going to be a bigger part of that, like rotation.
They're gonna be able to go like 5 wide, which is
Yeah.
pure threats.
But what's another? I think the Patriots make sense. I think it's a little bit boring, and I don't know if he wants to catch passes from Mac Jones,
yeah,
but
It really doesn't feel like there's a ton.
it does that to me. That's a
Because when
good
you
fit.
look at
The Jets have said they don't want him.
right, and that's what I'm saying. When you look at pure competitors, they're all kind of already set.
Yeah, like Miami doesn't need another receiver.
Miami doesn't need one. Philly doesn't need one. You guys could maybe use them.
Really, between Debo, Ayuk, and
He's
Jennings
better
is
than
still that
both.
third. Different style though, and I don't think he fits Kyle's style as much.
Yeah.
He's going to be running just out routes on the strong side of the play every
Hey,
game.
if you need a first down, you know
I
where
mean,
to
hey,
go to.
yeah, but that's Jawan Jennings' job.
Imagine running an out route there on a 3rd and something when when the other team knows you need a first down, and then you just run a one-on-one slant with Debo.
Hey.
Gone.
All right, well,
Oh, I think we're
I'd
good with our weapons.
say good fits is probably, I would say good fits for DeAndre is going to be Cleveland or Kansas City. What do you think?
Yeah, I think New England is a good fit. Like I said,
You
it's a
go to
little
New
boring, but I think I think Cleveland is my favorite spot.
Okay.
But
The Deshaun reuniting would be pretty sweet. I'm sticking with Kansas City.
Okay.
I've said it. I think I said it
Yeah.
when we talked about it before. I've said it once he got released. I'll say it again. They're a team. I also think that he would be willing to take a pay cut to play with Kansas City, with Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
I also think that would probably lock up a ring for them, barring any
I
disasters.
would think so.
I mean, to be honest, they had a disaster last year and the motherfucker just played through it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that's I think Kansas City. It's a cop-out answer, but again, it's just it's too realistic.
yeah, I mean, when you have a team that's that good, like, and you have an opportunity to join them,
Yeah, bro, and they're like $5 million.
it's just
But the thing is, I don't think that's a cop-out answer, though. I think that's a
realistic.
genuine. I just think it's because obviously they're so good, but I just think fit-wise, like that is it's just a
It's
great.
the only team that doesn't have an out-and-out number one because they just lost Juju.
Yeah.
And then
I mean,
was
New
it
England
MVS or who was the one they lost?
MVS.
MVS, they have Kadarius Toney, who's been
So was it Mecole Hardman stayed
Michael
too?
Hardman.
Okay, so MVS was gone and Juju was gone.
Yeah.
And that was their 2 best producing receivers.
Yeah.
So now it's like, bro, what the it's like 1 and 1 is 2, bro. Come on.
Yeah, but then they're gonna bring some random.
Bro, 1 and 1 is 2.
They're just gonna bring some random
And 2
loser.
is another chip.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
big
some
time.
guy who makes the team as like a linebacker, so for some reason has to play wide out
Bro,
and ends
listen,
up catching touchdowns.
I know it
for
gets
him.
boring. I love watching dynasties.
That.
This is history. Don't you want to be able in 60 years to be like, bro, I watched that.
I would rather it be the team that I root for.
Like,
I
I
heard you
have
to do
this.
that
I
with the
have this
Warriors.
thing because we were born right when Mike was done
Yeah.
dominating. That like I want to be able to say I watched our generation's Mike. Like that's why I'm such a LeBron guy, because I also didn't really get to see Kobe like that.
Yeah.
At least in his prime. I was super young watching Kobe's prime, and I didn't really care about basketball like that. I was too busy watching baseball. Now that I care about basketball, it was all LeBron and
Yeah.
Steph.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We watched Tom Brady. Like that shit's insane.
Yeah.
We got to watch Tom Brady.
We've gotten to see some great athletes.
I'd be
Tom
amazed
was even
watching.
more insane because he left that.
I also
team
really
and then went
want.
on
I really
one.
want Patrick Mahomes to be the next Tom Brady because I can't stand Tom Brady.
I think he's going to. I don't think anybody's stopping him, man.
Yeah.
But gotta see.
Let's end it on that.
Yeah.
His girlfriend and his brother might stop him, but
Pat Mahomes.
But,
No, bro, not even his brother could stop him. He's gonna kick his brother to the side. I think he'd get a divorce like Tom did. Bro, imagine he's at 6 and she's like, step away. Bro, Heisman stiffy. I'm going for Tom's record. Just saying. Pat's that guy.
That'd be tough, man. But all right, y'all. But that wraps it up for us here for number 52. Thank you all again for tuning in. Got some new subscribers on YouTube as well, so that's pretty lit.
Sick.
Videos have been doing pretty well on TikTok and Instagram. Keep looking out for those. Again, be posting more. You'll be seeing more of these guys doing their personal videos. And all
let's
that.
start doing reactions.
Yeah, throughout the
Live
week.
and
Check out
community.
CC's recent video that we just posted, him talking about Miami stealing game 2. Obviously, check it out before game 3 happens, so that way it makes sense.
I won't watch it. It's too cringe. I won't watch it.
Hey,
But everyone else watch it.
I watched it. It was a little cringe, but it was actually pretty solid. So I
It's-
give you props for that, my friend. I give you props. So out of your element a little bit, but you're all right.
Massively.
But thank you all again for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully all 4 of us will be here. At least 3 of us will be here.
Sure.
But yeah, again, be working on it. And thank you all again for tuning in. See you guys next week and have a great rest of the week, y'all. Bye-bye.
Later.